Thank you very much, Rundu Adventist Primary School, for inviting my family. Yesterday, my husband spoke to you. Today, I'm going to speak to you. And our children gave you the song. Minus the one who is the boy. The boy and his father cannot sing. That's why the father can only preach. But when it comes to singing, if you start singing, he's discordant. Those who are singing will keep quiet. Okay, so we've been married this year. We'll be married how many years? I need to make sure he remembers, eh? It's a trap. This year we'll be married 15 years. By God's grace. And we have 4 kids. So we are doing a fair share of the parenting. We took the verse literal. The verse that says go and what? Multiply. Yes. God said go and multiply. And we are taking it very literal. Today we are talking about stepchildren. And in stepchildren, I'm also going to just add the orphans. The person who is called a stepchild has got one parent in that union. It's either the father or the mother is the parent. And the other parent is no longer there. Sometimes maybe the father died and the mother remarried. Now this child has a stepfather and a mother. Sometimes through divorce. Okay, some more English. Sometimes through divorce. The 2 parents separate. The father goes to marry another woman. Now the child is staying with his or her father and a stepmother. It's a tricky situation, eh? And sometimes it also depends on the stepchild. Especially the age when this has happened, whether the father has died or the mother has died or the separation has happened and the remarriage has happened. If it is a child who is like 1 year, they will not have issues. God help you if that child is a teenager. Because they already have a sense of belonging. They already own the mother. Now this man is trying to come and replace their father. Teenagers don't usually take that well. Even if it's the other way around, that there is a woman who is coming to replace their mother. That one can spell trouble. Then from the parents' point, there are men who fail to accept the woman's children. They want the woman, they don't want the children. In my language, we have a saying. I'm Shona. In my language, we have a saying which says, I think they've already cleaned the 3 cuttings which were here yesterday. Loosely translated, it means if you decide to pull those cuttings, you pull with the dirt that they carry. You can't pull those 3 cuttings and you want them be clean. If they decided to pull it, you pull with the sense. So if you have decided to marry a man or a woman who has their own children, you are marrying their children as well. You can't say, I want my man, I don't want the children. Children are not like peoples, where you can go and get some treatment, and the pimples disappear, and your skin becomes youthful again. Children are there to stay, you can't wish them away. Our problem is selfishness. Do you know how selfish a human heart is? You think about yourself first. Let me give you examples. Picture a wedding, eh? Those who have the keys to the food, what do? They take lunch boxes first before others eat. Selfishness. You think about yourself, you, me, myself, and I. Everything must come to my favor. So where I come from, there was a time where we were getting relief food from America. It's known as USAID. You know that USAID? US has got a program where it relieves people when there's hunger. There was a time when there was a drought in Zim, and they were bringing food and cooking oil and maize and beans. They were bringing a lot of food stuff. So the rule was, you come, you register your family, you say how many children you have, and you get the food that follows your family number. So in my family, it was my mother and my other siblings. The total we are 7 remaining. Initially we were 10. 3 of my brothers passed away. So now we are 7. We are left 7 children. So as people were going to register the names, my mother was now supposed to get a portion for 8 people. Now, my mother getting a portion of 8 people was not going to subtract the portion for the neighbors. It was independent, you understand? It was independent. They were not going to say, because we've given her 8 portions, we are not going to give you 2. Everyone was supposed to get according to the number of their family. Now my mother was there trying to register us. No, there was trouble. You can't register 8, you have to register maybe 4. And this is not coming from the American embassy. It's coming from within us. The person who has just been told to write down names and number of people. He's the one who doesn't want to write that name. What do you think was the reason? Selfishness. If we were going to get 8 and he was going to register 6 children, how was our 8 going to affect his 6 children? In no way was there going to be an effect. And even if we were going to get for 2 people, it doesn't mean the neighbor's portion was going to be increased. So just for me to get what I'm supposed to get, you don't want. That's how a human heart can be selfish. Right now, even as you are sitting, you want to choose the choicest spot. Because you are selfish. You want the best chair, the one that will look like it will not make you fall. You are not going to say, this one is good, so I'll leave it for the person who is coming. You want the best to yourself. You are selfish. You want to get everything. Choice must be yours. The next person must not get anything close to you. We are selfish. Now take that selfishness and bring it into the home where there's stepchildren. That's a problem. I'm going to ask us to do a little exercise. I'll ask us to stand. Going to stand. Good. Now I want you to stand on one leg. One leg. Stand on one leg. Okay, good. Now I want you to walk on one leg. They're jumping or not walking? Okay. Now I want the person next to you to be walking on one leg. And you support them and walk with them. Let's try. Okay, let's try. Support, yes, you support, and the other moves with one leg, yes. No, not both of you on one leg. The other person on two legs, yes. The other person on two legs. Now you walk with the other walk with one leg, yes, like that. Exactly. Which one is easier? Walking with a friend who is supporting you, right? Yes. Stepchildren are like people with one leg. You need to support them. They have one leg in that family. It's either their mother or it's their father. You are supposed to come and be that second leg that they need in life. If you are a father who has married a woman with her children, you are the pillar of strength for those children. If you are a woman who has been married by a man who already has kids, you are going to be the mother for those children. Do not leave them hopping around on one leg without support. You need to support them. Am I clear? Everyone wants support. That support, we need it. And you know, in this equation, the child had no say. The child had no say to be born. The child had no say with what happened with the parents. This child is just like the grass where the elephants are fighting. And the children pay for it. They grow without love. We are going to go to 1 Corinthians. We are starting from chapter 13. Let's go 1 Corinthians chapter 13. I'm reading from verse 4 to verse 7. Now my version says charity. Where it says charity, that's love. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. So this verse is saying, love suffers long.
The same love you have for your children, it's the same love you must have for these stepchildren. There mustn't be a distinction. There mustn't be a distinction. You married this woman knowing fully well that she has children of her own. Now what has changed? You married this man knowing he has children of his own. Now what has changed? Maybe there are orphans that they have decided to take care of. You know the human being. The human being is selfish, but at the same time loves praise. You like it when people say, this woman, she's taking care of orphans, she's taking care of your children, but for you to do the actual taking care, you don't want. But the neighbor say you're a nice person, you're taking care of these children. That one you like. Now it comes to the practical. Take care of them. The praises can come, but the works I don't want to do. We want to be known as Christians, but we do not live as Christians. We want the name only. The works have nothing to do with them. Now when dealing with these children, we must offer them love. But if you don't know God, it is going to be difficult for you to love. Because God is love. God is the author and finisher of love. So if you are not drinking from the fountain of love, you cannot give love. You cannot give what you don't have. This one is a simple rule of life, right? If you don't have it, how are you going to give me? Say, for example, now I'm in trouble, I need money. Can you say, come and I give you when you know your bank statement is also in the red? You can't. You can only offer me the money if you have it. So it is a law of life that you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't have God, you cannot give love. It is not possible. We need to be careful not to provoke our children. Including the stepchildren that we are talking about today. Ephesians 6 verse 4. It says, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Do not provoke your children. Sometimes we are very choosy. Now I'm going to refer to Genesis chapter 37. I'm not going to read the whole. We can go and read the whole chapter. It is the family of Jacob. You know the family of Jacob? He had how many fathers? How many fathers? And how many mothers?
4.
How many?
4.
He had 2 wives, Leah and Rachel, and the 2 wives took their maids to give. Because it was a competition, eh? It was a competition. So me and my maid, we fight in the same corner. And the other one and their maid, they also fight in the same corner. And the competition was, you show me, you do me, I do you, you give birth, I also give birth. Eh? So they ended up being how many? 4 mothers. Do you see how this was a child, a homestead with stepmothers? Now, look at the father, Jacob. All these children were his. But he still favored Joseph. And that caused problems. Jacob was coming from a family where the mother loved him and the father loved Esau. Favor between children. And there were issues. These children can see when you don't like them. They can see it. They know you don't like them. They know you like the other more than the other. Even if you might pretend I like all of them, I like them. If you are a man who has children from different women, you must love them the same. Even though you are now married to this wife, you must still love all your children the same. We have fathers who forget their children because they went and married other women. Fathers, don't forget your children. The stepfather who is stepping in for you might do, yes, they might like your children, love your children. They won't do it the same as you. When you are buying food for this family that you now have, remember the children you left with the other woman. Love your children the same. They didn't contribute to this confusion that's now happening. They were not part of it. Do not neglect your children. Don't choose among your children. Don't choose. They are all yours. You must love them the same. We are all the children of God. As different as we are, He loves us the same. God does not care whether you are a doctor or you work somewhere or you don't even work or you are just a street hustler. God will love you the same. You have a problem of choosing the child who is doing well at school. That is the child you like more than the others. The girl who grew up to get married properly. That is the one you like more than the naughty one. Who is going to show love to that naughty one? They depend on you. Now we know what happened. Jacob makes this coat. Beautiful coat. Different colors. And gives to his favorite child. You know where that took Joseph? Down in the pit. Because the other children were fed up by the favoritism. They wanted to get rid of Joseph. The parents had sown that seed. Now the seed was now giving harvest. If there was no favoritism from the beginning, there wouldn't be issues. Let us be careful, parents, whether they are stepchildren, our children, we must love them the same. I'll keep referring to my language. They were saying, loosely translated, it means when you have pumpkins, you must cut all of them because all of them will have seed. You can't look at it even before you cut it and say, "Hi, this one I'm kicking it out." You never know who you're actually going to depend on. Maybe that stepchild is going to be your savior. Keep all of them well. They are like pumpkins. They all have seeds. One of these days, those seeds will grow and you will be able to harvest. Do not select them. If the teachers give you a list, I've my 2 children here. The other one is in kinder. The other one is in Miss Makutela's class. You know, these people can give you a list, eh?
when
I came to enroll them, the list from there, I was like, my salary is gone. Now, when you get that list, distribute equally among all the children, whether step or not. Don't say, on that list there was an apron. I wanted to ask Miss Lichaha, what is the use of the apron? Because it looks like the clothes are still coming. Why did I even buy an apron? So the day me and my husband were in the shop looking for the aprons. This usually happens for all things. You find one that is cheap, the other one that is a bit more expensive, and the most expensive one. So we're choosing the aprons. We could see the aprons at different prices. And then we decided to pick the one we picked for our son. Now, if I had a stepchild, I was supposed to pick the same. You can't say for my child, I'll buy the $100 one. For the stepchild, I'm buying the $20 one. If you're on a budget, everyone must be on a budget. Some people like Paul. You know what happened to Paul? He got arrested. He was beaten. Paul was beaten. One stripe short of Christ. Christ got 40, Paul got 39. And you know why they gave him 39? The law that time said if you beat someone 40 times, you cannot beat them again. So they beat Paul 39 so that next time they can take him and beat him 39 again. So Paul went through a lot for the gospel. That was where his trials were. Maybe for you, God just wants to see how you take care of that stuff. That's your test. That's your test. God is saying, I want to see how you will teach my love to that stepchild. And how you take care of those stepchildren will determine whether you go to heaven or not. It's a matter of eternity. Now I'm going to talk about the troublesome stepchild. You don't have a problem, but the stepchild, they can choose to remind you of their mother every time. My mother was not doing this to me. My mother this, my mother that. And they can become very difficult. You can't take care of them. Even to the stepfather. They can choose to block that man out. No matter how good the man wants to be there in their life, they don't want to be involved. Now this is where 1 Corinthians chapter 13 comes. Love is long suffering. Ask God to help you to get that love that is long suffering. You need the help from God to help you, because on your own you won't be able to overcome. You need God to help you. Take care of the troublesome stepchild. On one end you have the stepchild who is troublesome. On the other hand, you have society which is expecting you to be an evil stepmother. Now, if you want to discipline this stepchild, the community will start talking. They don't care what the stepchild has done. Or else we know that stepmothers are evil, full stop. So already you're coming from minors.
Oyo yakurugana mnona kapta kaita.
You need God to be with you.
Ohepanye karunga akare kumwendowe.
And you need God to vindicate you.
Ohepanye karunga akupitisire.
Love the child.
Haram nonogo.
Do what you would do if it were your own child.
Rugana ehambara o rugane ngano ogomnona mnaganya.
And be able to go before God and say, God, my hands are clean.
The
most important court is the court where God is the judge. This village courts that judge you, this village courts that judge you, stand clean before God. And God will be your witness that you were not an evil stepmother. God will be your witness that you were not an evil stepfather. For men who are stepfathers, your stepdaughters are not your wives. Do not abuse them. God loves them. He has their special eye on them. Do not sexually abuse your stepchildren. Mothers, stand for your children. Do not cover your husband abusing that girl. Some of you value marriage at the destruction of that girl's soul. Your husband will sexually abuse your daughter, but you keep quiet because maybe you read somewhere that said marriage is a ticket to go to heaven. Because the way you are taking care of this marriage is as if this marriage disappears, you are gone. You suffer your children to be raped and abused by a man because you want to remain married to a monster. Mothers, fight for your children. Do not allow your husbands to abuse them. You are the leg that the stepchild needs. If you don't stand there, how are they going to walk on one leg in this life? Fight for your children. Check to see where your children are staying. Are they safe? Maybe you separated and you are not the one staying with the children. They are staying with the other spouse. Please check to make sure your children are fine. Men, when you come back from work, talk to your child. Make sure that woman you call your wife is not making life hell for that child. Your own child is going to be abused by the woman you married, and you just come and you sit like someone who is being you in the barber shop. In the barber shop, you just sit there and the barber will put that cloth, whether it's dead or it's washed, so just put it across. Then they take their whatever scissors, the pliers they are using, and then you're just there quiet like someone who is being shaved. So the barber will push your head this way, you listen. And the other way, you just follow. And now we are doing the beard lift, you just lift, you don't ask the person. Don't be like someone who is in the barber shop for your children. Have ways of checking if your child is happy. You may not directly go and say, is your mother taking care of you well? Because that will sow a seed in the child. The child will be like, okay, now I can become an employee of NBC. They become a reporter. And sometimes when the story is not salty enough, they'll add some salt. You are an adult. Find ways of seeing if your child is happy. Take care of your children. If you are the person who is now with the children, they are stepchildren to your wife, but they are not stepchildren to you. And you are the very, you are the pillar of strength for this child. Check to see that they are happy and they are protected. Okay, I had to check my time. Because I have a gift of talking. I can talk until tomorrow. I am a sanguine. Fellow sanguines, are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Exactly. We talk for a living. If people say no more talking, we'll just die. We can't keep our mouths shut. We love talking. And my husband is he appears quiet to people. And sometimes when he talks, he just says 2 lines. But when he decides to start talking, he can talk. So if you have a seminar that we lead, you must just know that you are in for a long talk. Because me and my husband, we love talking. I'm a doctor, so I must love talking. Am I still your friend?
Yes.
In this life, we need to hold each other's hands. Sometimes we just need to take the gloves off and fight bare hands. Because sometimes you just need to look each other in the face and talk about the truth. And stop hiding around. Teachers, these stepchildren, sometimes they'll come to you for help. There was a sad story I saw on YouTube. A real story. So this girl was abused. The mother separated with the father. And now this was not even a stepfather. Her own father abused her. And then she would go and tell the teacher. And the teacher said very hateful words to this girl. Something like, you see how you tell yourself, that's why men just touch you. Now she couldn't even tell the teacher that because of the father's abuse, she was now pregnant. Until when a reporter caught up with the story. So teachers, you are our third leg. When these children come to you, please help them. Offer them the help that they need. I will end here today. May God bless you.
Amen.